Skyrim has never known an enemy more than the bandit. They are quintessential to the land, where a cave hides itself, or a fortress builds itself, or a lonely road leads itself. You're sure to find one of these crooks. There's so many of them, though, it does seem never-ending. So if we cut off the head, maybe the rest of the body will die as well. That means we chase down the biggest bosses of them all. Today, I will be listing my top 5 bandit bosses in Skyrim. Let's get into it. Starting off with number 5, we have Captain Harger. He's in charge of a special group known as the Black Blood Marauders, and believe me, they are organized. They can trick you into doing horrible things. You get a good taste of this when you go to Solitude, and you speak with Juri Ra. He says he's just a treasure hunter, that's all. He wants you to go put out the Solitude lighthouse so that one of the Imperial ships won't be able to navigate. They'll eventually crash, and then you guys can take all of the loot. Let's say this was early on in your bandit fighting career that you decided to go along with this plan. You're much better now, but you do it. You put out the fire, and then you go back to Juri Ra, you tell him the deed is done, and he says you can go collect what is rightfully yours. And actually to expect his sister as well, who should already be there. Now, if you asked about the poor sailors on the ship, what happens to them, he tells you that his gang is going to make sure they all get washed up to shore, that they're not going to let them drown. But right when you get to the ship, you can see the dead bodies. Already the lies start, and throughout the ship you find more and more. Clearly they've been killed on the spot. Well, you make no exception, because once you meet the sister, Dija, she tries to add you to that list of casualties. She starts attacking that skimpy Argonian with hardly any clothes on. Seduction was her foreplay to murder, but I skipped right to the climax. Her whole crew was dead by the time I was done. But I realized it didn't mean anything. These were just minions. The real boss was waiting in that cave up to the north. So you go in, and you fight your way to the very back, where the boats are. Well, you get sick of them tricking you. This time, you get the drop on them. A whirlwind sprint sends you flying over the top of the fort, directly into the captain's bedchambers. That lying thief, Juri, is there, and he gets a hot flash of saber right into his chest. And while the rest of the marauders are all scrambling to run up the boardwalks, you've got the captain all to yourself. You can cut him down right there, next to his own bed, where he used to feel the safest. Well, now he can sleep as long as he really wants to. As far as the rest of his pals, you use the terrain to your advantage, keeping them on the run, peeling off one at a time until all of them sink down into that damp, dirty soil. They didn't make it any better off than that ship. They were so eager to attack. Number 4, we have Rigel Strongarm. She leads a group of bandits that are good at hiding, good at staying out of sight, and not many are like this, so it makes them extra dangerous. You can find her at Pine Watch. When you first come here, this seems like an unassuming place. It's just a small house. Apparently the man here sells wood to nearby settlements that might need his help. And yet when you sneak in, you can find him in the basement with a massive sword on his back. What are you expecting someone? Are there a lot of wood thieves these days? It's not hard to figure out that he's a bandit, so you kill him. But was he really staying here alone? That draft that you can feel seems to say otherwise. Where's that coming from? You go around the room, your head up against the stone, trying to figure it out, and then you stop at the bookshelf. No, it's not your head, but your feet that feels the cool wind. Something is definitely behind this. It's the hidden button on the right that opens this, and now you've found the secret passage. Well, it turns out there's a large group of bandits here, tucked away like a tick that's burrowed its way into the skin. Scratching at it isn't going to do anything. You have to go in and dig it out from the inside. And one push isn't going to do it. This thing is in pieces. You have to make sure you get all of them. But eventually you will get down to the head, and you learn something that may actually help you out. Apparently the boss here has a treasure room that the other bandits have been trying desperately to sneak into. This makes her paranoid, right? So instead of just rushing in and hitting all of the alarms that she's set up, you decide to take your time, inching your way past the strings of bones that'll rattle even with the slightest nudge. But if you're careful, then you'll see how important that really was. Rigel is still asleep. Rumor has it she has a strong arm, so I'd rather deal with her when she's been abruptly woken up and her muscles are all jiggly and haven't had the chance to warm up. You start hacking at her, and by the time she knows what's really going on, she doesn't have any strength left. Now, these bosses, they think they can just sleep whenever they want, tucked away in the comfort of their hidden fort out somewhere. What they don't realize is you've got a strong scent and are always going to sniff them out. Number 3, we have Rochelle The Red, a woman who isn't afraid to change up the game. She isn't going to wait around for you to strike first, she's going to hit you where it hurts the most. Family. See, one day you're going to come home, and your wife or your husband isn't going to be there. Instead, there's a bandit by your front door waiting for you. They tell you your wife, in this case, was real nice to them when they stopped by. So nice they decided to take her with them. He then gives you a ransom note, and it reads, "While you were away, we came to visit your lovely new house." Oh, thank you. Is that it? Oh, the bandit told me usually she finishes the letter with the part, about coming out to one of the bandit camps and paying a ransom to get her back alive. I don't know why she missed it. That doesn't matter. The bandit told me to go to Knife Point Ridge. That's the point. That's where I could pay the ransom. So, thank you. I thanked him, and then I shoved my saber down his neck. Okay, that cocky bastard thinking he can just chill here some more while I leave. Yeah, crawl up out of your own ass. So you go to where she's being held, and just there, outside, you find the boss, Rochelle The Red. The one person crazy enough to try stealing the Dragonborn's wife and actually get away with it. Well, apparently she wants 5,000 gold, and Sylgia can walk home safe and sound. Yet, the trouble is, this whole experience, this thing happening right here, has put you in a horrifyingly fierce mood, and now you're going to slaughter all of them. You do just that, picking off her minions like little bugs, like they're nothing. Rochelle herself does prove to be better with a sword, but not like someone whose family is at stake. You push her to the ground, and you shove that saber, again, deep down into her back. Working your way up to the camp, the massacre continues, and you make it pretty clear that this whole idea truly was as stupid as it first sounded. For no bandit felt wrath like this. Inside the cavern, you can finally find your wife, locked inside a cage. There's one last bandit chief that you have to go through, but what's one more to 100? You put him down quickly. And then after unlocking the cage, your wife embraces you. Yeah, see, apparently she kept telling them you were going to show up, and when you did, it was not going to be a fun time. And she was right, but what did they know? Sylgia goes out of her way to step on the bodies as you walk out, saying they got what they deserved. And then you both make your way back to your house. Tonight we should have a toast to Rochelle for at least getting out of bed and trying something new. It was a valiant effort. Number 2, we have Brandish. You can find him at Fort Newgrad. The thing is, he comes from an elusive bunch. If you get far enough in the Civil War questline, then the bandits aren't going to be here anymore. They will have moved on. And it's no good letting a dangerous group like this get away and cause havoc somewhere else in Tamriel, so we should strike while the going is good. The fort itself is no easy thing to conquer. The outside has plenty of defenders, and they've got no problem staying up on the ramparts and shooting down at you, only moving when they have to, and you force them down. And on the inside, there are plenty of rooms which they make sure to fill. You'll be up close and personal, fighting on a stairway, or in someone's bedroom, or knocking over someone's dinner. And the same is with the bandit chief, who always keeps pressure on you, pushing you around with that flaming axe of hers. Now, sure, she's a good fighter, but nothing special, nothing out of the ordinary. And with the chief dead, you think, well, alright, that group of bandits wasn't so bad. But then you check the journal you found on her body. She mentions someone else who happens to be down in the old library. The door to it is right in the dining room, so you take the key from her body and you use that to unlock it, and that is when you find him. Brandish, an exceptional mage with very deadly powers. This is like the group's secret weapon. With just him, they can take down some of the best warriors out there. It certainly wasn't easy taking this fort for themselves, but that would just be the beginning. And when you start to engage him, you realize just how strong his attacks are. The bolts of lightning that he shoots at you truly feel like they're coming down from the sky, and you were the only thing to ground all of that energy. Each hit deals incredible damage, leaving you breathless every single time, maybe even dead. But if he feels like brandishing the power of electricity, then I feel like brandishing the power of healing potions and chug those down. I did, believe me. Hey, we all have a secret weapon of some kind. And exposing his torso made it easy for me to cut through his flesh, that flash of blue that he was used to himself. After that, he was done showing off. And what a waste it would be to leave him down here in the old stinking library. Let's move his body somewhere stupid. Yes, you both look like nincompoops! And number 1, we have Creve the Skinner. He has a prominent role in the leadership of the Silver Hand. This is a deadly group that doesn't just have a surprising amount of members, but will attack you on sight even if you aren't a werewolf. So they function the same way as bandits, but their vendettas run much deeper. Well, throughout the Companion's questline, you're dealing with these brutes. They're much better organized, they've got several different strongholds, and if they have to invade Whiterun to deal a killing blow, they will. Well, that means we have to do the same thing. There's a part where Ayla brings you to one of their fortresses to meet up with Skjor and do just that, deal a killing blow. a few actually. A couple dozen, somewhere around there, give or take. But eventually you work your way to their leader, Creve, the Skinner, working on the hide of one of his fresh kills, actually. He's the only named member within the Silver Hand, so it's speculated he rules all of them. And if that's true, he's done too well of a job with such a ruthless group. So what's important is that we figure out a solution right here in this room. Either they leave or we leave. What's gonna happen? This is 4 verse 2, so you're running around, you're quick on your feet, putting in hits where you can. Actually, taking out his minions first is a good way to... Oh my god! Now that... He just soaks them all up, doesn't feel a thing. For skewer! And with the help of Ayla, confusing him and turning his brain to mush probably, the both of you finally kill Creve. His maniacs are so passionate that, yeah, they'll still go on to fight, even with him gone, but the recruiting is going to stop here, and their numbers are eventually going to run out. That means no more skinning. And despite my enemy's preferences, I didn't see any value in taking his flesh. I tossed him in the fire. No piece of him was ever going to leave those flames. And there you have it, my top 5 bandit bosses in Skyrim. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And down below, please tell me, is there someone else you would like to add to this list? Alright, thank you very much for watching. God, with this many bandits gone, it almost doesn't feel like Skyrim anymore.